A very good afternoon to all of you. I, Akansha Rawat, Assistant Education Officer from Directorate of Academics, welcome you back after the break. For today's session, we have with us Mr. T.V.S. Prasad Rao, who is an expert in indirect taxes. In this session, we will deal with customs, service tax, and VAT. Before starting, I would like to clarify one thing, that advanced tax laws and practice old syllabus is divided into three parts. Part A, direct taxation, which is of 30 marks. Part B, indirect taxation covering central excise and custom for 50 marks. Part C, international taxation for 20 marks. The pattern of question paper will remain the same. Advanced tax laws practice new syllabus is divided into two parts. Part A, direct taxation for 30 marks. Part B, indirect taxation covering central excise, custom, service tax and VAT for 70 marks. One more thing I would like to add, that this webcast does not cover the whole syllabus. This is only to facilitate the students. Now I would like Sir to throw some light on the structure of customs and give us a brief overview on the subject.
Okay. Friends, customs, it is relating to international trade. So customs deals with imports and exports. It's a tax law. Basically, it's a tax law, but remember, it is equally important from other aspects also. So say, for example, regulation of imports and exports, protection of intellectual property rights, protection of domestic industry, conservation of foreign exchange, prevention of smuggling activities, and so on and so forth. That is the specialty with the customs. But we study customs from tax point of view. And in customs, we have three things to take note of. Number one, the provisions of the law. Customs Act read with Customs Tariff Act. Number two, rules. Say, for example, valuation rules and baggage rules, etc., drawback rules, etc. Third part is case study, circular information, latest amendments, particularly with reference to notifications and others. So this forms part of customs. In customs, there are number of series of regulations. We don't have to study those regulations because customs is very big. If you look at look at it as a whole, but you don't have to study regulations under customs. And of course, for examination point of view, few rules only, particularly valuation rules. Of course, baggage rules and duty drawback rules, etc. Other rules you need not consider. So then, it is divided into, from the examination question pattern or examination point of view, basic concepts relating to various definitions of customs, what is import, what is export, import manifest, etc., etc. Then, duties, very important. Revenue duties and protective duties. Revenue duties are BCD, CVD and special CVD, and protective duties are protective duty, safeguard duty, anti-subsidy duty and anti-dumping duty. Of these four revenue to protective duties, protective duty under 6 and 7 of Tariff Act and Section 9 anti-subsidy duty, these are almost redundant. Indian government does not impose them because they are more or less not compatible with WTO. That you have to put your focus on safeguard duty under Section 8B and also Section 9A, 9AA, 9B and 9C anti-dumping duty. These two duties on which you have to put focus. And then coming to valuation chapter, most important chapter under customs. In valuation, you should know the meaning and scope of transaction value defined under Section 14.1. Of course, tariff value Section 14.2, and again valuation rules. Very, very important. You have to understand carefully, and of course, export valuation rules are also there. And more particularly, I have already told you, adjustments given under Rule 10. And this is a very important chapter for practical questions. You have to make sure that you are able to solve the questions. And then duty drawback, another technical area. Procedural aspects you have to take care of. and there are practical questions in valuation chapter, baggage, duty drawback, etc. So briefly, this is the area which you have to cover carefully, and nonetheless very important, the common topics. What are the common topics? Particularly classification of goods, refund, recovery, etc., and appeals, revision, review, etc. And there are frequent changes in these two chapters in particular, refund and recovery, appeals, revision, review, etc., adjudication, etc. These two chapters you have to be very careful. You have to go through the website to find out the latest amendments applicable for 2014 December examination, and all budgeted changes in 2013, all changes say up to June 2014 are relevant for your examination. So these common topics they are equally important, you have to take care of. And some few changes in advance ruling also, for example, public limited company of Indian origin, resident public limited company also can seek opinion ruling under advance ruling. And recently current budget, which is not applicable for your examination, even a private limited company is allowed. So particularly you have to be sure that whatever changes that have taken place, you are aware of. So briefly about the syllabus, and let us get into specific queries.
So we are getting a lot of queries on customs. One such query from the student is, what is anti-protective duty and anti-dumping duty?
Okay, briefly, there is nothing like anti-protective. There is a duty called protective duty under 6 and 7 of Tariff Act. That is redundant because that is aimed at protecting a particular industry-specific protection. That industry-specific protection is unwarranted and is not acceptable under WTO regime. Because India is a member country of WTO, Indian government right now is not imposing any protective duty. Anti-dumping duty, it's very frequently being imposed. If you look at the website of cbec.go.in, you will, in the notifications, you will find the notifications relating to safeguard duty and protective duty also. The safeguard duty and anti-dumping duty. And anti-dumping duty is particularly when a particular country is dumping, means selling in India, exporting to India at a lower price, below normal price lower than the normal price, then we will impose anti-dumping duty. Our Director General Anti-Dumping and Allied Duties will be investigating into and making recommendation to Ministry of Finance. Actually, anti-dumping duty is investigated into by under the guidance of Ministry of Commerce and Industry, and the recommendation comes from Ministry of Commerce and Industry to Ministry of Finance, and accordingly Ministry of Finance will issue notifications. It may be on provisional basis or it may be on final basis. Normally definitive anti-dumping duty will be after the investigation is complete. Normally they will impose on a provisional basis, and it may take 6 months or 6 to 9 months time to finalize also. And this anti-dumping duty is very important from examination point of view also. And there are so many ways of finding out anti-dumping duty. One such one is finding out the margin of dumping, which is the difference between normal price and the actual price, or actual value, normal value. And another one is finding out the margin of injury, which is the difference between fair market value, that is price available in India excluding taxes, of imported goods, less means this what we can say, basic custom duty, value plus basic custom duty. So you find out margin of injury, you take the value, actual value, you can say CF value plus 1%, you will get assessable value plus add BCD with cess. So you deduct from the fair market value, then you will get what is known as margin of injury, and there may be other methods also, measures also. anti-dumping duty is imposed mainly to protect Indian industry where other countries are dumping their product in India. So this is country specific. Same product may be exported by many countries, but the country which is dumping will be taken into task. Okay, it's a big issue. Every country is nowadays very particular about this, very cautious and sensitive about this. Next question.